I feel like a pillow.
You look like one, too.
And you look like one, too.
No, it didn't.
It did.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
It's only 4 minutes into this thing, and we're already messing it up.
Zen. Get Zen.
Getting zen. Welcome to Book Thots. We are Thoughts for Books, and these are our thoughts on books. Today, we are concluding our 10-week journey stripping down Onyx Storm. We've wildly formed theories, pronounced a name/place wrong every single episode, and at times we've spread some misinformation, mainly Jenna. For the 10th and final episode of this series, we will still be doing all of that, of course, but so much more. Before we begin, we do have a content warning.
Today's podcast is rated mature. We are Book Thots after all, so we are going to be using adult language and talking about adult topics. So please pay attention to who may be listening near you. This episode will also contain spoilers for Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. So if you haven't read them, this podcast is not for you. Lastly, as Emily said in the intro, I, maybe we, but definitely me, will at least mispronounce a name or place. Emily has a lot in store for us today, and we know almost nothing, we being Adriana and I.
Yep.
So let's jump right into it.
My hands are so sticky and they smell like cinnamon.
Now you have to give context.
Nope.
No.
I'm leaving it as that. I am stoked for today's episode, but since we are wrapping up our first strip down ever, I have a few shout outs to give to the people that are helping make this dream a reality. First, thank you to Root Coworking for letting us use this amazing studio. Thank you to Reach Clothing for helping us make the sickest merch ever. Thank you to Lauren Mitchell for giving our brand life by making our logos. Thank you to Rebecca Yarros for writing a series that has taken the book world by storm and giving us endless hours of something to talk about. Also, thank you to our listeners, friends, family, a few strangers. You make this fun to do. We officially have 100 followers on TikTok and 31 subscribers on YouTube.
Let's go!
And that's only going to grow from here. Or it might not. And you 31, we're going to keep your audience and your attention forever. A shout out to Comfort. We have these awesome sweats today. If you would like your own pair, then click on the link below. Or maybe I'll add one. You know, like when people do like, click on this link. Come on, you need to be in it too.
Oh, sorry.
Click on this link or the link below and use our discount code to get you a pair. They always have sick deals, so be sure to check them out. Lastly, thank you to my amazing sisters right here that jumped on board to this idea without a bit of hesitation.
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't want to sit around and talk about a book we've already read?
Yeah, and keep rereading.
Well, I mean, that was a little rough.
It's my whole personality now. So to kick this episode off, I have a quick little game where we're going to test our luck with Zihnal. Zihnal? I said it right, didn't I?
Zihnal.
I say Zihnal. I don't think it matters at this point.
No,
in the
it
game.
does. I'm going to try to get everything right. Okay, take a mug.
Mm-hmm.
Take the full shot.
Okay.
2 of us have water. 1 of us has Sinfire. Don't make a reaction. And then when we're done, whoever has the Sinfire is going to raise their hand.
I have a prediction that none of them are water.
No. There's
She's
there's
evil.
2 waters in there.
She's evil.
It's a party. What are you talking about?
Also, I really want this in fire. So if you could smell the cups.
3, 2, 1. Raise your hand if you had Sinfire. You were right, of course. I put it in all.
Cheers.
Cheers to finishing all 9 episodes strong. The first thing we're doing
Yes.
is our final Armoire Bond Malek. For those that haven't listened, it is fuck, marry, kill, but with terms from Onyx Storm / Fourth Wing Iron Flame. Do you have your answer, Adriana?
I'll let Jenna go first.
Okay.
Oh.
Jenna wanted you to go
No.
first.
I think I went first last time.
Okay, Jenna?
So this is going to sound really bad, but I can't remember the guy's name that I'm going to kill. Malek.
I feel like that's a crucial element.
I know.
That is a crucial element.
I know. I should have probably looked it
You're
up.
killing a stranger?
No. Okay, but I'm going to do Armoire first.
Okay,
I'm going to Armoire Imogen.
that's a good one.
Okay? And I'm going to bond Xaden and I'm going to Malek, the leader of the scribes. What's his name?
Oh, Melgren? No, not
No.
Melgren. The one that knew
like
Violet
Pancheck-
growing up.
Not Pancheck.
He's like he's the leader of the scribes, so he knows all of the falsehoods that there's just spreading, and he wants to continue spreading falsehoods. And I just think that that's unforgivable, and I think he's the worst.
I probably should have been specific on when I typed who is the leader of the scribes. I probably should have put fourth wing because it's showing me New Testament and Jewish law. So
That's who I'm Maleking.
oh god.
so Jesus, basically. Markham.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Markingham.
Markham. Also, I think pretty much that's the only one I've changed, except I've waffled between Armoire, Ridoc, and Imogen.
Yeah.
But I am changing my Malek for the first time from Brennan to Markham.
See, and that's interesting because my armoire is basically between Imogen and Garrick. Well, that's like the hardest pick for me is the armoire there. I definitely marry Xaden because he's a shadow daddy. Let's be real. We can't go wrong with him.
Definition of one.
I mean,
But
yeah.
my Malek, I still hate Theophany, don't get me wrong. But I'd want to kill the fucker from that's married to Xaden's mom. That did the whole test.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
what is his? I'm blanking on the name right now.
It starts with an F, I
Yeah.
think.
Google's
Ferris.
gonna be-
Ferris.
It's Ferris.
I think it is Ferris.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would.
Yeah.
I would happily.
He's
Malek him.
disgusting. You're
He really
right.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Such a good decision.
Yeah.
He didn't even cross my
He
mind.
didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Like
didn't
I was
think about
thinking
him.
Pancheck just because at this point in the game you already know like the ending and stuff.
I can't.
I can look over that just in regards to I get he was kind of just throwing out information the entire time. Ferris like just drove me nuts.
Ferris is
because
nasty.
He's evil.
yeah, he is evil, and his own gain out of it was purely selfish. And so to me, it was just like, you know what, I can move on. Yeah,
I can't decide who I think is the good guy versus the bad guy, so that's
know.
why I wasn't going to kill a Vinin because I can't decide if
Yeah.
I think that they're actually okay or not.
I really want to Malek the Irid dragon leaders. I thought they were just
Oh, yeah.
so mean, but I can't Malek all 5 of them.
I mean,
And if I kill one, they're going to come after me. So I guess I'll choose a human. That is such a good answer. I kind of want to steal it,
Go
but I
for it.
won't. I won't steal it. I'll do something a little different. I am still going to Malek Jack because I think whatever plan that the Venin have for him. Oh, wait, no, but we'd be doing them a favor
yeah.
because they want him dead.
Yeah. What
about
I take that
Berwyn?
back.
Do you also can't decide if you think Vinin are good or bad?
See,
That's why I didn't
such
want to
a
kill
tough
Theophany.
choice.
I'm going to kill the Venin. Is it for sure? Who's showing up in Xaden's dream? We
Berwyn.
don't. It is for
Yeah.
for sure. I'm killing him.
Berwyn.
I'm killing him. I'm taking a risk that he is actually really bad, and I'm gonna say I'm killing him. So Malek, Berwyn, Bond. I am between Xaden and Ree because I think
I
Xaden
love
is
her.
obsessively in love, the kind that I like. Don't get me wrong, I read this book for it, but Ree would be like, I mean, she'd protect me, she'd hold me at night, so I think I'm going to choose her for the Bond. And Armoire, I think Ridoc, because he throughout the entire series is just always doing something.
Oh, he's so fun.
Yeah.
Like,
So
he is
fun.
so
He'd
fun.
show me things I didn't know.
Like, again,
So
I just can't choose him because I don't want to be cold.
He fucks like a third year.
Yeah, he
yeah.
does.
So
Get it.
your final rating of the book out of 5 stars. 1 star would be you almost didn't finish it. 0 would be you absolutely did not finish it. And 5 would be your favorite book you've ever read.
Are we rating it based on 1, 2, and 3? Like our order or just on
no,
Onyx?
no, just Onyx Storm.
Okay.
Because I think almost the majority of human beings like won the best.
That always makes an appearance.
It wouldn't be the final episode if that didn't happen
Right.
again. 1 star would be you almost didn't finish it. 5 stars you would put on the same shelf with your favorite book ever.
Okay, and just Onyx Storm.
Just Onyx Storm, not the You're not rating the series.
Can I compare it to books in the series?
You may compare it to books in the series.
Because the first one was my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fourth Wing, I would put on the shelf with my favorite books. It wouldn't be top, but it is a good book. Then the second one I hated, and the third one was not great. So I think I'm going to give it a 3.
So wait, when you say the third one's not great, but you did like it more than the second one?
I did. It goes above the second one in the series for me.
Okay, so how many stars?
I said 3.
3. Okay. Adriana?
I don't think I give any of them 5. But I do agree Fourth Wing was still my favorite, hands down. I think the way she wrote that, it really enticed a lot of readers to jump right in and kind of get on board. Second one definitely lagged, but it kind of has that second book syndrome where, you're setting up a lot of things for the next series to continue, or for the series to continue. But the third one, to me, I actually liked more than I would have given it credit. So to me, if I were to rate the first one, let's say about a 4.25, I'd rate this one a 4.
I love that you went to the decimals. That's just so you. I feel like you've read so much that's such an accurate rating.
It is hard to get a 5 for me. If I'm rating a book a 5 or even a 4.75, that book is permanently on my shelf and I will reread it personally multiple times, not just for a podcast. I will recommend it and probably gift it to you. So just a heads up.
Okay, so give us an example of one of your 5s.
One
Or
of my
4.75.
5s, since I try to read a little bit of everything, for literary, I think Pinchinko is a great story, a multi-generational story that everyone should read. It is sad, so if you don't like sad books, that may be one to avoid. But for fantasy and kind of the closest, and especially even the romance side, I do love ACOTAR. I know everybody's probably jumped in on this bandwagon at some point, but if you haven't, and Fourth Wing is your first book back into reading, do take the time to read it, because I think her writing style is very delectable in the sense, just like Rebecca's is, and you can find characters in that you relate to and that you root for constantly. So it may be a little different in the way that it's written, but I highly recommend it for sure.
Do you like ACOTAR more than Tog?
Oh,
Because I thought you were going to say
I did
Heir
too.
of Fire. I thought you were going to say like Throne of Glass.
I did too.
I love it because it was the first series I ever read by her.
Yeah.
But I think there's just something with the sisters. I love Selena. I do. She's a character that I root for from even book 1. But I just love what we get to explore with ACOTAR and some of the things that we see through kind of the growth of those characters. Tog is something you have to kind of bite down and just tackle because it is a long series, but it is, in my opinion, worth it. If you start with ACOTAR, I recommend starting with ACOTAR just because it's kind of a popular series everyone knows and can talk about, but then definitely take your time to go back to Tog before you read Crescent City. That is important.
And I would get a partner to read it with you to pull you through, because it is rough at times. But then looking back, the overall series, just the character building in there is awesome.
Yeah.
And I am a weird one. I actually love Crescent City. I know a lot of people do not love Crescent City, especially compared to all 3 series, but I loved it. I hated it at first. When I first read it, I pictured like medieval times, and then they were talking about cell phones, and I was like, what is this? Magic and cell phones can't exist together.
Yeah.
But they can, and I liked it. My answer is going to shock you.
Okay, go.
I'd rate all 3 5 stars. I loved all 3 equally. They all had their own things I liked about them. I think a first book, a new story, you're gonna love it if it's good, if that makes sense, because it's fresh, it's different, you like it. You love the will they, won't they between Xaden and Violet. Will she die? Is she not? Her brother's alive? Like, there's just so much good there. The second one I liked because it was so opposite of the first one. Mm-hmm. And I am not someone that gets irritated with a miscommunication trope, because that is just reality.
Yeah.
Couples miscommunicate all the time. I heard it's the leading cause of divorce. So
that is true. That is true.
So
y'all need therapy.
Go see a counselor. So it doesn't bother me. And the third one, it's just riveting in how much they just like go from place to place. I do think that this series should have been probably 6 books, and a whole book should have been them visiting the Isles, because I do feel like that was rushed. So that's
something I feel like you mentioned that you struggle with, though, is when they start to move off of the continent.
Yes.
But I think that's kind of expanding the world and expanding even the magic system that we can see and the knowledge that we get even from where the scribes have kind of, written things down. So that's important when you have a fantasy world. You need to move around the continent and even off of that map. I just hope we get a bigger map in the next one, because if we don't, I'm going to be pissed.
I also struggle with when I fall in love with characters, I want the whole book to just be about them. So when they start to like shift to other perspectives or even just like other segments about those characters, I get a little selfish and I want to reel it back in. So, but I do like it. The problem with me is if you give me a love story and a few moments where they almost die, then I think it's a 5-star book. The books that I don't think are 5 stars are if they're too kiddish or there's no love. But even though, I don't know, but that's not true too. I don't know. I give it 5 stars. I give a lot of books 5 stars. I've only never finished one series.
I was going to say that you're our nice book reviewer. She is going to, if there is story and characters, she's probably going to be like 5 stars.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I would give ACOTAR 5 stars, except the novella, because no one prepared me that it was a novella. So I read it in one sitting, and when it was like the end, who ended? What's going on?
I could have had that as a bonus chapter.
Yeah,
in one
that
of the
should have
books,
been
or
a part
few.
of. It should be a 4-book series, and don't tease me like that because I also read them on Kindle. So I did, and I'm weird. I don't look at how much time is left because then I only focus on that. So I never look at what part I'm at. I never look at the percentage or anything because I don't like to know. I think it kind of ruins it a little bit for me.
So I look at the percentage, and I'm telling you, in Onyx Storm, I was like, oh, I'm like at an 89%. Like I'm almost done. And then when I got to the end, I was like, what? Why is this the end? Like, why isn't there more? And then when I reread it, I did exactly the same thing. And I only had 5 chapters. I knew going into it, it was 5 chapters. And at the end, I was still like, wait, this isn't how it ends, right?
Right.
You know what's funny, though, is those last 5 chapters, I've reread the most because I think more happens in those last 5 chapters than probably the entirety of the rest of the book. And I reread them, and every time I reread them, I discover something new that I looked over.
I said the prologue, most of the bulk happens. So it's the prologue and then the last 5 chapters, and that's what could have been the book.
That's true. It sets quite a bit up for you.
Oh, yeah.
To like kind of just digest and then kind of go back and pick at, because you're like, wait a minute, could this mean this? Or that you read it a second time and you're like, no, it must mean something
Or
totally
I see people on
different.
TikTok and they're like, this is the things I've discovered rereading the last 5 chapters. How? When did you discover this?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt when you guys came at me with the mating bond break.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what?
So I know this question is something that you probably need to think about, so I will go first. I always tell people this. One of my favorite questions to ask my coworkers is, what would be your last meal? If you're on death row, what are you choosing on your plate to eat before you die? And they're like, well, I need some time to think about that. No, you don't. Whatever came to your mind is probably honestly your answer. So I'm going to ask this. What was your favorite moment throughout the whole book? Maybe just the first moment that comes to your mind. For me, it's actually a series of consecutive moments. I loved the character development of Violet, kind of finding her voice and actually realizing that she is a leader and is going to have to be a leader. Although I will agree with Jenna, she does do some dumb things at the end of the book where you're just use your mind, Violet. I loved all that kind of leading up to her character development. Also, from them meeting Theo when they have Mira to the whole rest of the book is my favorite part of the entire book.
Yeah.
I just love that. There's the intensity. You just don't know what's going to happen. You expect everyone to die. Who's going to die? I just loved all the action that comes with it. And it's really hard to write action where you understand it. And I felt like I was there.
That is a huge moment for Violet, especially standing up for herself when it comes to the council, standing up for her squad, because she knows that, you know, those deaths kind of go back to weighing on her shoulders a little bit more. But for me, it was Ridoc. It was Ridoc this entire book, because that moment when he finally realizes about Xaden and he confronts Violet and he's like, I love you. And if anyone's going to have your back, you know it's me out here as well, outside of Xaden. But now that I know something's going on, I need you to tell me where that line is. And I feel like everyone in life needs that friend to just have your back and help you see through some really dark times or see through things that you're not willing to kind of question for your own sanity, for your own heart, for your own sake. Like, I think that's important. So to me, that moment stuck out, and it's still kind of, it doesn't make me cry necessarily, but it makes me feel so emotional because it's something that every genuine friend would do for you. And it's not that he hates Xaden. It's not that he's not rooting for you guys. It's the fact that he is trying to protect you and realize you need to have some kind of semblance of knowing where you stand in such a critical and dangerous portion of the story.
She's going to hate the fan theory portion. She doesn't have a TikTok, so she doesn't know what's coming.
No.
Okay,
It's
Jenna.
my favorite fan theory.
Favorite fan theory. It's so serious.
My favorite part of the entire book or
yeah.
series.
No, just
Whichever.
this book.
Yeah, I did.
No,
I
I'm-
did the book.
You
Just
did do
this
the, but you were Ridoc. I don't think that.
Specifically in
Yeah, I was
this
supposed to say I
one.
don't think that'd be your answer if you hadn't read this book. You wouldn't
No,
say Ridoc
no.
if it wasn't for this book. So okay.
My favorite part is when it's Imogen's chapter and Garrick shows up and she says because of his like distraught behavior, she feels safe being a mess around him right then.
That
That's
one
my
was
favorite
a good
part.
one.
She's so guarded around everybody. We've never seen her really be true to herself. And in that moment, the man that she loves is there. And she's like, okay, I can let my guard down.
Yeah.
And that's pretty powerful.
That
to me.
one actually made me cry.
Yeah, me too.
Because you do see Imogen put such a front up, and we know how much she cares about Garrick. Like, it's very evident.
Next is least favorite moment. Least is a loose term because also when I think least favorite moment, for some reason I just think sad. And I'm not saying that it isn't a moment I'm glad that's there. I'm just saying it made me
I already
sad.
have one.
Do you want to go first? You
Yeah,
go
go
first.
first because I need some time to think.
Go.
My least favorite moment is when Andarna shows up and we're not given anything. That's my least favorite
Of where she's
moment.
been.
We're not given
Why
a
she came back.
damn
Yeah.
thing. No, Andarna, you're back. No, I'm not going crazy. I actually see her this time. There's nothing.
You have some qualms. Mine also involves Andarna, and it's her leaving Violet. It just makes me so angry because she doesn't know that Violet's gonna be okay. She trusts this random man that came into her life, aka this dragon man, who's like, she's gonna be chill. She has another bond to rely on. I don't like that, but that's also tied with Imogen's chapter. Imogen's chapter makes me so sad because she has already been stripped and gone through so much. And then she loses her best friend. I think if I was Imogen, I would crawl into a cave and never come out again because I wouldn't want to love anybody or share my heart because if I did, I'd just assume that they'd die.
It's probably why she hasn't told Garrick.
The last episode, Jenna said the only people that didn't know that Garrick and Imogen love each other is Garrick and probably Imogen. I think I'm the third person in that scenario because it took me forever to pick up on the will they, won't they with them.
What?
For some reason, I thought Imogen was dating her best friend, which might mean why I think that chapter was extra sad because for 2 books, I thought they were a thing.
Yeah, but don't you find out about her girlfriend with Imogen's Quinn? You find out about Quinn's girlfriend.
Yeah, no, I know. It's very explicit that she's dating someone else. I just must have read through that.
I just had sweat trickle down my back.
I can feel it. By the way, the sweat wicker on these things is insane.
If you're looking to lose weight, lock
This
yourself in
is-
a podcast studio in one of these things.
We went to a club. We went to a few clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Celebrating
These
special
book
someone's
thoughts can
birthday.
also be dancing thoughts.
Mhm.
I love a good club to dance in. No, don't get behind me. You'll freak me out. I just want to dance. I know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rachel, who's made my soul leave my body because I thought it was a strange man.
No, that's fair.
Do you guys remember grind
immediate.
trains? Did you ever do those? And like at
We're kind of old.
You're not that old compared to me. You're only 4 years.
I get to lump you in because you're a year younger than me. You get to come with me
Wait,
on
how
the
old
old
are you?
train.
No, so a grind train, for those that don't know, is when a group of, I guess it could be of any gender, but you get in, everybody's grinding on each other, almost like caterpillar.
That's a
yeah,
lot.
that's
I'm not saying that I like it. I'm just saying like in
I've done-
sock hops and
I've
stuff
done
like that. Yeah, I mean the teachers had to split those 7th graders apart.
Sock hops are from the 50s. Are we mixing everything? now?
No, when I was in 6th grade and 7th grade and 8th grade, there were no proms. There was a
They
formal
just
in 8th
call
grade.
them
Yeah.
dances.
In 6th grade I went to a sock hop. If
Did you wear a pink poodle skirt?
No, I wore socks to hop in. No,
Did
really.
you wear
would-
a leather jacket and a white tee?
I hate you
Because-
right now. Okay.
Did you?
We need to get back to this. Adriana, what's your least favorite moment in this book?
I don't know. I can't.
Can I say
know that like I was thinking about it, but like for some reason I'm not quite grasping at what it would have been.
Can I say what I think is your least favorite moment?
Go for it. It might jog something for me.
It's not a moment.
It's not a moment.
No, it's not even the book.
It's not no.
Hmm.
It's a theme. You don't like the lack of details in the world building because
Oh,
you
gosh,
are
yeah.
a world builder. Bob the builder
Okay.
next to me, she loves the world building. So I think,
Yes.
but that's not a moment. So
It's
I
not a
say your
moment.
least favorite part is any part that has a map and you can't see it because we don't get any information.
I reference the map. I don't know if everyone else does that, but I definitely do. I know that this was purposefully done for this book because she didn't want to just explicitly say by showing the map. It's kind of a spoiler when you first open the book, you know, like, oh, we're going to other places. But again, Rebecca,
They
that-
do it in every
yeah,
series.
that better be in the next book, though. That's all I'm saying. Because you know we're going north at some point.
We're going north.
We're going north.
So-
We are headed north.
I want the full map.
Grab
want
your
the full map.
comfort sweats because we're going north.
You'll stay toasty.
In the comfort sweats, link in the bio or here.
Yeah.
I am not going to want to edit that in. There's probably not going to be a link there.
Actually,
Oh.
hold up.
She's excited.
She's angry.
How ignorant to not consider the unmarked islands when looking for the dragons. I get you needed your information. I get you needed to consult the people on these islands, but like at the same time, you are going to uncharted lands. The only person who has been this far is Asher that we know of. Okay.
Sorrendale.
Yes. Sorrendale. Dasher, whatever you want to call him at this point.
Daxton.
Daxton, thank
Papa.
you.
Asher, Daxton, Sorrendale.
Papa. I
But
will.
Why not
it-
even
it-
check the uncharted one, or the ones that look brand new? You don't think maybe there could be some dragons on that ship?
Volcanoes are the secret.
That's another one of my pet peeves is
Ugh.
unintelligent main characters that for the whole book have been the most intelligent and then somehow just are stupid.
Yeah, I'd rather them be unintelligent the whole series
Yeah,
and
it
stay
makes
that
more
way.
sense.
Them not checking the what would you consider uninhabited islands?
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me about that is the islands that have people on it, they're risking their lives to go visit. So you would almost say, hey, before we do that, let's go to the ones that don't have people where we're not risking our lives.
Yeah. I mean,
But then
it-
again, they wanted to ask about Andarna's kind. So it makes sense.
I feel like when you always mention Zihnal and how that leads to them finding the dragons, like everything that takes place in that chapter, I totally respect that because that is true. That gave us the pathway. It even gave us some items I think that will play a key role later, which
R.I.P. Traeger. Traeger
Yeah.
Grills. Okay, final bet on the ending. What is your current guess on the fate of Xaden and Violet? You have to guess their ending. You can be as specific as you want, or you can be as little detailed as you want.
As you want.
I guess you guys are both being super quiet, so should I go first?
Do you want to?
I do.
That's
All right.
fine.
Go.
They both die.
Wait, the ending of the series?
The
Not the end
series,
of this book.
yes. And then when we
Oh.
finish book 4, guess what? We're doing it again if they're both
Okay.
alive.
Okay.
I am saying that I think that this series ends with them both dead. Here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Like they live out their life in
No.
Tairn and
That
then
would
they
be her
die.
theory.
I think that there is a small chance, I'm going to give it 23%, that Xaden is dead after, during or like somewhere in book 4 and book 5 is all Violet. That's only 23%. So the other, someone help me with the math here,
Nope.
77%?
Yes.
Yeah, the other 77% of me thinks that book 5 ends with them both dying and sacrificing themselves.
For their baby?
You are You're trying to make this
Ooh.
happy? Is there a baby? No.
There's gotta be.
No, just because you read one series with a baby.
No, I think because of the dragon saying that it can change with future generations.
Yeah.
That there's gonna be a baby.
If there's a time jump, though, I'm going to hate that.
I don't think we'll get it.
But it doesn't have to be a time jump. They can have a baby and die. It can be an orphan.
And Andarna, Tairn, and Sigale are raising him.
God, do I want them to die now? You're bringing orphans into the scenario.
I'm just saying, that's how I would
Andarna's
picture
an
it if that's
orphan.
the case.
Yeah, and I'm mad at Andarna. She made me angry.
Wait, I'm
did it
sorry.
again.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, it is your final bet on Xaden and Violet, and whoever's right will get a new car.
Oh shit!
Hot Wheels. So yes, I'm gonna say Xaden and Violet, the series ends, they both die. How I envision this happening, and I'm gonna get into some specifics here.
Okay, yeah, go for it, because I think I have mine.
I actually don't have anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
You
gonna.
think that's so...
Dramatic. I know. I think that they die together. I do think that something happens, and I don't know what it is yet. I think Violet's blood is important in what's made in her blood. I think she might be part dragon.
I hate a Romeo and Juliet moment.
Well, that's
really
what I was
do.
about to say.
You
It's
think like poison and then dagger kind of thing?
no, he's just saying
the
tragic ending.
Yeah,
They
like
both
the
die.
sacrificing of each other. Like, I get you can't live without each other.
No, I don't think it's going to be a sacrifice.
And I'm going to say they're the couple that disappears on an island that nobody can find them except for maybe Ree. Or Imogen and Garrick if they're not with them. But I feel like the transcribed information that we get from Jacinia is partially to make them seem as they're dead, but that they're happily, living their life on an island. And I'm not trying to jump on the train with here, Jenna, because I do have more of a grim soul here. But that is my theory, is that...
She says that, but the last episode, she was the positive
That's true.
one.
I'm trying to be positive more about this series. That's because if anybody has read the Divergent series, you realize there are evil writers out there. Veronica Roth.
Yeah, evil. When we make her read Hunger Games too,
Ooh.
I personally think
that one is so good, and for so many reasons.
I think Hunger Games has a worse ending than Divergent.
Divergent just pisses me off.
And
because
Hunger
it's like
Games-
I won't get into it. I
Hunger
won't ruin
Games
it
is
for
a
people.
false happiness. You're fake. You're lying if you like
But
that
that one's
ending.
more realistic in the dystopian world setting that it's in, because look at the world we live in now.
That's true. We're getting off topic
yeah,
though.
go ahead.
So Jenna,
Oh, do I still have to go?
you still have to go. Yes.
Okay. I honestly think that they're going to die fighting for their cause, and history is going to repeat itself. That's how I think it's going to end.
Okay, that's fair, because I saved your little happy couple for you here.
You
Wait,
did.
what about the orphan baby?
Well, the orphan baby might get to change the world, but they're not going to change the world. They're trying their best, and it's not going to work.
But why put so much power in... Rebecca has even come out and said that we do not even know the full extent of Violet's power. Like, we've seen 10%. So to me, that makes it seem like she's kind of the savior in this one.
I don't think she gets to be the heroine.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Who do you
Okay.
think is?
You
I don't
the
think
next
it's going to end with a
legacy-
heroine. I think that they're going to try their hardest and fail. I think history is going to repeat itself. I think that's the message this book is bringing, that there can be heroines and heroes out there and they can fail.
She did say that one of the reasons she wrote this book is because she saw the United States history repeating itself and things that we've hidden in our history.
is, yeah.
So call me pessimistic if you want, but that's how I feel it's going to happen.
How did you and I flip?
Yeah, who are you
I'm
guys?
def-
I don't
Definitely.
even know myself anymore at
I'm-
this point. Like,
I'm
I'm usually the
literally-
grim one.
Being an army wife, I am maybe more of a realist than people realize.
No, that's fair. You've
You've
like-
lived life.
I have been met with expectation and disappointment so many times that that's just who I am. I'm a realist. And I think that realistically, what I can expect from this author is disappointment.
And I wouldn't say I'm a realist. but I like to think the worst. So when the happiest happens, I'm extra happy.
See, that's what being a realist is, Emily.
No, that is.
Oh.
You expect the
Yeah.
worst so you can be surprised if it doesn't happen. That's a realist, baby. Welcome.
Welcome to the club.
The club in the
we
fa-
all fam. Next is we're jumping into fan theories.
You have to take a shot
Why?
because I said so.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, I'm almost. This is just the rest of this.
That's fine, but you have to take a shot before fan theories. I feel like that's only going to get the spice rolling. Okay.
So now we're jumping into fan theories, and on our TikTok at Book.Thots, I posted, what is your craziest Onyx Storm theory? Nothing is off limits, and the people ran to the comments. So
Shall be fun.
I'm going to jump into 3. If I get your handle wrong, I am so sorry. I'm horrible with names. But the first person is at Jules Poho commented that Ridoc isn't a good guy. I despise this notion, but she did say that another creator at Darth.Melissa has a whole video explaining the red flags. I watched it. Don't disagree with all the points that she says, but I refuse to let this be true, so I will ignore them. One of the biggest things that I think makes the most sense is when they're in the kitchen in Onyx Storm and Violet thinks that he gets stabbed by the chef.
Right.
It is very descriptive that she so believes that Ridoc has been stabbed, but he acts like it's no big deal. He hates sewing.
Venom don't bleed.
Venom don't
and
bleed.
he doesn't bleed in that scene.
That is like one of the big things. Also, he wasn't a part of the group at first. He kind of inserts himself. He's the one that walks her to the station when Jack saves her. He is the one that like drops her off for her watch, and then she falls off that tower, and then Ridoc shows up after everything happens, and he's like, whoa, that's crazy.
I also think it's kind of weird, like how bubbly and stuff he's presented throughout. Like, what if he is Venom and he's trying to cover up the fact that he doesn't have feelings?
And you think that's why he confronted Violet with the whole thing that I said about like
I know when you went into that, I was like, "Oh God, Adriana,
they're trying to crush my soul."
Okay, and another thing that they said is he talks about how his signet has grown so much that he doesn't know anyone that can he can freeze things, right?
Yeah.
And he can freeze the water within someone's body, or he
Right.
freezes the orange.
He can pull
Water.
moisture from
Yeah.
the air to freeze.
Yeah.
And this creator points out that Violet's been training her signet. She's been training her signet so hard, and no one's to say that he isn't off camera, but that is quite a growth for someone. So she just thinks that he's hiding something. I don't think that he's wholly bad. A lot of the comments said, well, what if he's a god? Some people said, what if he's the god of luck? Because he always talks about how lucky he is. And he's just portraying to be this god and hang out with Violet. I personally just think he's a jock and kind of airheaded.
That's interesting.
I don't think he's bad. I will say, if he is bad, Rebecca, you're good.
Yeah.
You made us love a bad
Yeah.
guy. So,
Although you do love not Jack, you love Dane a lot more in this book, and that was intentional too. And she did a great job of showing his growth too, because boy, did he piss me off in some of those last couple.
she
books.
plays with our emotions. It's at Darth.Melissa. I asked her to if I could bring this up on the pod, and she said yes.
Okay.
So you can message her, maybe talk to her. She said she was going to do a follow-up video because so many people commented on it and had their own take. So she's going to do a follow-up video. I love that there are people out there that are so detail-oriented that they can pick up on things like that, because I am not. And you know what? I will just take the time to say this. Shout out to all the podcasts out there that are about books, where it's people that have been doing deep dives forever and are really good at it, because this was very hard. Pretty sure we got a fact wrong every single episode. So respect to you. We're learning what we're going to be. We might just be the podcast that you go to be like, okay, so that's what's wrong about this book. The next fan theory is by at Tara Stewart. She said, the Venom aren't the evil. Dragons are. Magic was in the sky, and dragons grounded it for hatching grounds. So human souls bond to dragons, and Gryphons, while Venom, lose their souls. I don't know how to say that.
Because there's no tether.
Because there's no tether.
Interesting. I like that theory. I can relate to that one a little bit more because we don't know enough about the Venom to understand if they really are the bad guys
Yes.
with magic.
Honestly-
Them draining the world is very curious to me as far as why we do it, but at the same time, is it necessarily a bad thing or is it something that's just portrayed as bad for us readers at this time?
This theory is kind of the summary we've come to as a book club.
Yeah.
Book Thoughts.
We have.
I think that's what we've decided.
If they aren't the evil, I don't think they're wholly good because they do destroy towns and kill women and children
do.
and all that. So they can't be wholly good. The battle of magic has drawn the evil out of everybody.
I don't think that our favorite dragons, Tairn and Sigale, follow all of the evil dragons because Tairn has been like, don't question me or you'll find out how willing I am to break all of my kind's rules. I think that we have 2 of the good dragons on our side.
I was going to say, I think there is evil in both
Yeah.
of the dragon kind that we know of. What we know from Tairn and Sigale, though, is very limited on knowledge because there's still so much more I feel like they lead on to showing that we are not privy to, but at the same time, they are choosing to go against even their own dragon kind. So there has to be reason for that.
Yeah. I mean, our theory is that they're both choosing their humans over dragonkind, which we've been told never happens.
So glad you guys have joined us on this journey. 'Cause
Yes.
It has been a fun book club, to say the least.
One last one is, and I love this handle, it's at Little Mushroom Person 0. So that means there's more than one out there. Said that broccoli plays a serious role in the next book. And she specifically said, I mean, the biggest. And I actually think that'd be hilarious if... I honestly think Rebecca wrote broccoli in as a joke, but so many people took it so seriously
Oh, yeah.
that she might actually consider that.
I mean, we know that the claw could represent different things since Zihnal uses it to reference broccoli, so it could be another claw coming into play.
I just want Mira, Drake, and Broccoli in the next book. Like, I need them as a little cute little family.
That was another fan theory.
Yeah. They're the ones that need to end up on an island somewhere. And I commented my theory about that Xaden's actually dead. Violet had to kill him, and that's why she asked Imogen to erase her mind.
I
And
literally thumbs downed it.
Someone commented and was like, who was supposed to hold my hand while you said this? It was really funny.
That is great.
Okay, so now we're going to jump into our final fan theories. You have to say a fan theory that you believe is true and the reason why you believe that it is true. And I don't know what will happen to you if it is not true, but something bad will happen. Or good.
Shot.
Well, we can't take shots for it right now because we won't find out in the next 5 years.
Nope.
So I couldn't decide between 2. So the first is that we talked about this so much during the last episode. I don't know how much detail I need to go into, but I do think 100% that Andarna severed the bond between Sagel Bagel and Tairn. I believe this to be true. Tairn is in a deep sleep when he doesn't answer Violet when she finally wakes up. Andarna is back. She's the only one that we know of that can sever a bond. And we do know that Sigel needs to be with Xaden, but can't also be away from Tairn. So there are a lot of things that lead up to where I think that to be true. I actually believe that to be so true that I'll put my stamp of approval and say that I believe it is fact. The second is I believe that Violet has unlimited power. What I mean by that is I don't think she's just a lightning wielder. I think her power is endless. The only thing I don't know about that is her power endless because Andarna is from the sky and that's where power comes from? Or is her power endless because she's been touched by the gods?
I was just about to play off of that. I feel like Andarna has something to do with the gods as far as how much power she has. I think that that's a great point to make because Rebecca has confirmed we only know so much of her power, and I feel like if we dive in further in these next few books of how much stronger she gets or how much she, signet-wise, we see develop, I think it has to play with the gods, whether it is her favor or the fact that the gods have more control with the dragon being magic. Maybe they are the gods for all we know. Who knows?
That would be a crazy.
But I do feel like that's the theory I would lean more towards because there's so much we don't know with the Venom side too. And I think that with history showing the war, that there's so much we don't know maybe that's the play on Rebecca's trying to show us through Violet being able to bond Andarna.
So are you going to put your stamp on it and say it's fact?
That's what I'll go with.
Okay. Cheers to that.
It's a tough one.
It is.
It really is, because there's so many fan theories out there. They have such significant points too that I'm like, wow, I didn't even consider that. But now that you've made your point, that's great. Or some of them I'm like, yeah, 100%. I agree.
I'm glad there's people out there that post them
Yes.
religiously, and then I just read the comments and I see people just tear it apart. So then I decide from the comments if I believe the fan theory or not.
That's valid.
That's about it. And people have even torn us apart on our fan theories.
That's fine.
For example, Violet's mom does not have silver hair.
She
No,
doesn't.
she doesn't, apparently.
Who said that to begin with?
I don't.
I don't know.
Mm.
Wasn't
Not
me.
us.
Not me. I think I'm going to go with a very simple fan theory. It's not like in game or anything, but I think that Berwyn is actually Xaden's grandfather.
Ooh.
That's the one I'm going to go
Surprised
with.
you didn't go with the grandmother theory.
Oh, I did say that.
I was waiting for the grandma to pop back
This
up.
girl and her grandmamas, it's insane.
Yeah, because I kind of think that Theophany might have been Nyara, which is Violet's grandma. I kind of think that that might have been a thing. I definitely do think Violet's going to regret killing Theophany, because I think that Theophany wasn't super bad. I mean, she literally taught her lessons. Every single time she met with her, she taught her a lesson. And I just don't think that somebody who's purely evil takes the time to make someone else learn it.
But doesn't all mage and sages kind of not tauntalize them, but at the same time, I feel like that is them showing them that as your teacher, or if you choose me, I will show you the way.
I mean,
I will show
sure,
you
but
I
the
just
way.
think she just wanted power. I don't think she was like, not to tear apart your theory, but I just think that she wanted power so bad because, and she saw that Violet was that way.
yeah, but I mean, she is pretty powerful. Plus, she's super old.
Yeah, she's dead now. We have the
She
death receipts.
neglected
True.
the
I'm-
god, though. So to me, that makes it think that even though gods have a huge role in this, what are we missing?
We don't know if the
Everything.
gods are good. We don't know who's good. Maybe no one is. Well, anyway, that's what I'm going with. I think that Berwyn is probably Xaden's grandfather.
Do you think Naolin's dead? Like actually dead from
No, I
Tairn?
don't
Because
know.
that's Tairn's former writer, right?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think. Well,
She
I don't
actually thinks that
know.
Naolin is the grandmother.
I don't know, because Tairn specifically says that he's not going to let Violet end up like his last one, killed, or whatever
True.
that quote
That
is.
when
It does
she's draining?
say kill. It doesn't say like turn venom. It doesn't say anything that's elusive. It says kill.
Where?
When he's talking to Andarna and he's like, you're going to get Violet killed by your inability to listen to instruction, and I won't let her end up like my last one. I'm not convinced that he's not just dead.
I think it'd be so funny if Rebecca just wrote the most boring book, next book, and every theory that we've ever formed did not come true. Everything was exactly as it was written.
I honestly don't think the next book isn't going to be like unlike the second book and just a bunch of words that don't give us any direction.
And then she pops off in the fifth book.
No, I have questions. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So what do either of you think that she meant when she finally confirmed after this book that what makes you think that the dragons gave their true full name?
I mean,
However she words
everybody's
it.
lying. The Venons say they're lying. That why wouldn't the dragons lie? The humans are lying. They've lied to their people for how many years? So the dragons not telling us their names. Add it to the list. Join the club.
It just could be that they're trying to bond people that
'Cause
the
they know-
ancestors,
Yeah.
because that's the humans aren't allowing that because it makes stronger signets, which I don't fucking understand, because you're fighting a war. Do you not want a good weapon?
Well, that's what Xaden says. Is maybe they're building an army of their
Yeah.
own.
which
it's like
they
almost-
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
Bodhi
understand
has a
that
second
they are.
signet.
Well, he does. I've thought that from make that my theory then, that I know is true. I'll
Yeah.
put my stamp of approval on it.
We got a stamp.
Bodhi's got a signet.
What
and
if the fourth book and it's like the first sentences, and Bodhi was thinking about how he wished he had a second signet.
And Bodhi's dead, and we never know.
No, stop.
As much as the signets have played a role in this as far as manifesting them quickly compared to the past, it feels like, because they're not bonding as many as they used to as well, the dragons.
Right.
So I feel
Because
the
they're
signets are
waiting-
playing a higher role in this too.
They don't need as many,
Right.
Because they're getting more powerful. Possibly.
That's still a lot of dragons left.
Are the dragons killing off their own kind?
What do you mean
I
by
don't know.
killing off your own kind?
That's weird.
There's not very many bonding like there used to be. Are they actually just dead?
Or are they waiting for the next class?
I mean, Andarna sat in her egg for 650 fucking
That is
years.
true.
And
That is true.
nobody came to check on her.
Just saying, how long are those eggs going to incubate?
They may probably make a mean omelet though.
Aric's just sitting there popping them open.
Yeah. Anyone got some bell peppers? We're gonna jump into our final spotlight about this book.
Yes.
You have to choose one song to be the theme for the book. I'll go ahead. This will be quick. Ordinary. I still believe it to be true. I will
Get outta
sit
here.
on that and I will stay there.
Get out of
I
here.
will say, Alex Warren, you wrote a song for the people. And
I like the song.
No,
I
no,
just
I-
don't think it embodies this book in any way.
I think that that's blasphemous and I think you should leave. I will also say that recently Brittany Broski came out with her own version of the song Adore You. And although it is kind of poppy to be this song, I think that the lyrics are accurate. So I will say I do like that song.
You're
as an
talking about
option.
poppy as opposed to gospel music.
Ordinary is not gospel.
It feels very
practically
gospel,
is.
yeah.
And is this book not about gods and dragons? If that's not gospel,
Listen.
I don't know what is. Okay, Jenna, I already know yours, but you go ahead.
It's not really, I don't think it's the theme for the whole book. I just think it's Violet's theme song, and I totally forgot.
The heart wants what it wants.
The
by
Yeah,
Heart
Selena
Wants
Gomez.
What It
Selena.
Wants by Selena Gomez.
Okay, Adriana.
Mine is Summoning by Sleep Token. Honestly, there's a lot of Sleep Token that could honestly probably fit this, but that is my view of it. Ordinary, what
There's
is it,
not
Alex Warren?
anything in the book about anyone being ordinary.
You know what Ordinary
You
reminds
have
me
not
of?
listened to this song.
Do you know what that, just because it's the wording of it, it reminds me of the Powerless series. After reading Now Reckless,
There's
I'm like,
a book
okay,
that it might
there
fit.
you go. That might fit. It's a little
I
clean.
hate you both, and I will discontinue this podcast immediately.
You're the one who started it, so you're the
I
only one
know.
allowed to.
You
I
said
didn't
we can give
no,
it
wait,
6
wait,
months.
wait. I did not start this. BookTok started this, and I joined the bandwagon. I
Okay,
can
that's
admit
fair.
when I say that I joined the bandwagon, and when something's popular and I can agree to it, this is that thing.
That's
also,
fair.
Brittany Broski didn't know you could sing. But you singing Adore You, I listen to it and I think about like a battle scene where Xaden's going to sacrifice himself or Violet. And I think that song could also be applicable.
I'm
here.
gonna need to listen to that
Good
off
word.
camera because I know we
applicable.
can't
As
play
soon
the
as I said it, I
songs.
knew it was popular. Okay,
Perfect.
so that's over. You're both wrong. Next is casting. So unfortunately, I don't know enough actresses' names to
Yeah.
do Violet. So we're only going to do Xaden. We already know Florence Pugh. You better get the call to do Mira or I'll riot. BookTok has Xaden casting. There's a top 3. I'm going to show you guys the top 3. Adriana's going to pronounce their names the best that she can because if I try, you guys wouldn't even know who to Google.
Well,
First is the one that we've
No.
seen before. His name is Josh Houston.
no.
Okay?
Okay.
I think that this is more of a Bodhi.
He's a Sawyer at best.
You're making that sound like Sawyer isn't great.
I-
I don't think that this is the guy. This is another guy. I think this is a Liam. I don't think this is a
Yeah,
Xaden.
I don't see
Liam
that
has
as Xaden.
blonde hair, but he does have the kind face that I picture Liam to have.
Yes. His name is Emilio
Sakurai.
Sakraya.
Sure.
Sure, look it up.
I don't want to.
The
Fuck up
last
pronunciations.
guy is who I think is the most like Xaden like. I mean, his name is
Orion?
Orion Eccleton.
Actually, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I have a name that everyone
Eccleton.
butchers, so I understand and I apologize.
He
That's
does
what
it
happens when
at
you make me
least-
take shots.
At least he has the masculine square jaw.
That's what I picture. The thing is
rid of this photo and I'll be okay.
the one him doing the peace sign.
Yeah, nobody needs that.
I think Orion is my pick out of those 3. I will say this though: if you have a kind face, I don't think you're our
What if
Xaden.
he's Garrick though?
He could be Garrick. I think all 3 of these people could play a part in the movie or TV series. I don't know what they're doing.
Go back to the first one.
Feminine jawline
For a
is what
second.
throws
This-
me off.
oh,
Like
Josh.
you just can't be.
Is that him?
Yes. You think that's Xaden?
No.
After this interview, just looking at photos, it would be hard for me to determine. I need like how you interact with people. Granted,
your mannerisms.
but I feel like he could fall into the role if he would deepen his voice a little bit. The third one would be my second, but he could
He's
be
5'11".
also a Garrick to me, the third one.
I know.
So like I feel like that plays both.
I
Like, he
kind
could
of
be
wanted
either.
to spend some time casting everybody, but I just don't know enough people. The only hill I'll die on is I think Florence Pugh should play Mira. That's it.
Yes.
That's
I
the
think-
only one.
Violet needs to be a
Me.
short, small person with a gymnast body build.
I can't find somebody that I want as Violet though. At least not that I have found so far.
No, like actors, I
Besides
can't
me?
think of anybody.
Besides you.
You're not short. Sorry.
I know, and that is the only reason they're not casting.
That is it. That's
But
all.
I mean,
I have the freckles though.
compared to how tall Xaden is, you could be the short one.
Yeah, but she,
Ooh,
I think
like
it
the way
says
that
she's
works
like
out.
5'3". Doesn't it?
Oh, does it? I don't know.
I think it
I
says
will do
she-
surgery. I will commit to this role.
I think it says how tall she is, and she's very short because there's a lot of like fan art with comparisons, and I think that they have their heights.
Yeah, no, we do have their heights.
Yeah.
so
Zayden's huge. He's like a big man.
He's,
so
like,
with the
6
feminine
something.
jawline and like I can't do it. Like he needs broad shoulders. He's a big man.
I want to also just asterisk here. This is nothing against these actors. This is just what we have in our minds. And the fact is you could cast Rebecca Yarros could stand on the top of the world and pick a person out and say, this is who I imagine. And all 3 of us could disagree on who that person is.
Because we've all made this picture in our
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to be mean to the actors
No,
that are on
not
here
at all. So if you get the role, congratulations.
Yeah.
The only thing is,
We're not gonna
Florence
watch the show.
Pugh, yeah. The only thing is, we will not be participating. No, Florence Pugh, you don't have TikTok. Maybe your agent does. You need to get Colin because I'm not watching the show if you're not on it.
You've been warned.
You've been warned, and that's one less viewer, and that'll make a big difference. That's all we got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening to our 10-part series about Onyx Storm.
All right, now let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next week, we'll be starting our strip down of Powerless Trilogy by Lauren Roberts. Please hit that subscribe button and follow us on our social platforms at the link in our bio. Tune in every Friday wherever you get your podcasts for a new episode of
Book Thots!
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yay!
We did it!
We did it!